Eudaimonia means feeling happy and having a positive attitude. It is usually used to talk about feeling good, happy, and satisfied. In ancient Stoicism, the term was used to describe when someone lived in a way that followed morals and as a result had a happy and successful life. In a lot of Greek schools of thinking, eudaimonia was considered as a way to live with goodness and ethics. The greatest achievement one can have is to live a life that follows reason and virtue. This kind of life naturally leads to a state of happiness and fulfillment. The Stoics thought that you couldn't find true happiness by trying to feel good, having lots of stuff, or trying to avoid feeling bad. Instead, it can only be achieved by improving our thoughts and actions. To the Stoics, it is important to first understand the world we live in. Then, we should accept it as it is, instead of trying to change things that we cannot change. The ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle talked a lot about eudaimonia, which is basically about being happy and fulfilled. He believed that the main purpose of a human life and what should influence our actions is to achieve this higher level of happiness. Aristotle believed that the key to living a good life and being happy is to be virtuous, which means acting in a way that is reasonable and in harmony with the world. He thought that if someone lived a good life by being brave, moderate, wise, and fair, they would be happy and satisfied in the end. How can we reach eudaimonia? The Stoics thought that happiness could be achieved by being good and having a strong moral character. When we do harmful things like being too greedy, angry, impulsive, or jealous, it affects our moral character and makes it hard to find inner peace and happiness. So how can we live with goodness and help ourselves achieve lasting happiness and well-being? Many people want to live a good life for different reasons. There are different ways to be good, and what being good means is different for each person. Here are some ways we can become better people in our own lives. Try to determine what virtue means to you. The first thing you should do is to figure out what virtue means specifically to you. What does it mean to live with virtue? What does a good person look like? Then think about what qualities you think are important and how important each one is to you. This can be different for each person based on what we believe and have experienced. It is important to make this decision for ourselves instead of following someone else's choice. Create objectives for yourself. Once we know the values that are important to us, we can examine our own lives and figure out how to include these values in it. How will you become wiser? How will you practice self-control? What steps will you take to be more honest? All of these efforts are meaningless unless put into action. Practice every day. We have many chances to add these qualities to our lives. You can improve your life by eating healthy, getting enough sleep, being truthful with others, exercising, giving to the needy, reading and gaining knowledge, reflecting on yourself, being kind to others and yourself, forgiving others and yourself. Reflection. Our way of doing things will change as we go along. Make sure to pay attention to how your practice is going. If any changes are needed, check on that. Also, see how you are doing in terms of changing your behavior. It's important to know that becoming a good person takes a long time and there is no final goal or finish line. Living a life that makes a positive difference in the world and brings us happiness and peace of mind. Stoicism and living in alignment with nature. Stoicism believed it was very important to live in line with the natural way or the logical order of the world. When we understand how the universe works and where we fit in it, We can then learn to be okay with everything that happens around us and find peace instead of feeling frustrated and resistant. To live in harmony with nature, we need to gain wisdom and be more objective when we observe the world, people, and ourselves. This means seeing things as they truly are, without being influenced by our own personal biases, preconceptions, and beliefs. When we can see the world clearly, we can tell what we can control and what we can't. The philosopher Epictetus believed that we can only really control a few things in life: our thoughts, beliefs, actions, and how we respond to situations. That's all. We cannot control anything outside of ourselves. And when we understand this, we can live in peace with the world around us. The Stoics thought it was important to develop good qualities like wisdom, courage, self-control, and fairness. They believed this was similar to what Aristotle taught, assisting in helping them make choices that lead to a positive and joyful life. In simple words, the Stoic belief of living in harmony with nature means living in a way that follows the logical order of the universe. It involves knowing where we belong in the world and behaving in a manner that shows wisdom, self-control, and fairness. This way of life will take the Stoic to a state of fulfillment and happiness. Eudaimonia means being happy and fulfilled through doing things that make sense to you. It is not just a feeling. Additionally, the intellectual and moral qualities that make up these virtues are not natural talents or easily obtained forms of knowledge, but rather they are long-lasting traits that develop through repeated practice. Thinking about our actions and the positive effects of being in suitable social situations and conditions, including our material well-being. This means that being happy and fulfilled, known as eudaimonia, requires living a full and fulfilling life. Just like one bird does not indicate summer, and one day does not indicate a happy life, a short period of time also cannot bring true happiness. In the middle of the 1900s, people started to bring back the idea of eudaimonism. This is a theory about how humans can be happy and well. They also brought back virtue ethics, which is about being a good person. People thought these ideas were better than other theories because they made more sense and were easier to understand.